Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to be your patch note professor for the August 1st update, the head-to-head update. So just wanted to go over the entire patch line by line, talk about how I think it's going to impact the meta, the game, my opinions on it all, and it's a very big update. I wasn't expecting this big of an update this soon, but it is incredibly awesome and big, so let's just jump into it. So the biggest thing to talk about is the fact that we now have head-to-head, so 1v1 matches. So something they've been teasing for a little bit, but instead of just having the thing where you attack someone and you get defended, you defend someone, and you have two instances of your team fighting, players are now paired off to fight directly against each other and both take part in the same shared combat. When an odd number of players are present, one of the players fights a clone of an actual player, and leaderboard now pairs off players when they're in head-to-head combat. So this is incredible. This is, one of my most requested features, one of my the internet's most requested features, because it makes the game feel so much more social and just makes it feel like you're playing with other people. Teamfight Tactics had it, and I made a video talking about things I wish Underlords would do that Teamfight Tactics did. And this was my #1 thing. So this alone, if this was all the update was, I would be insanely happy, but we have so much more. So the one thing to talk about the meta with this is theoretically it decreases the variance in the outcome of the battle. So theoretically RNG is more prevalent, because say you had a Tide Hunter, you had a real good Tide Hunter, and you have two instances of your team fighting. Well, you have two chances for your Tide Hunter to get a really good ult off that wins you the game, but potentially you increase the chance of him not being able to do that. So it just decreases the variance, which could make the RNG a little bit feel more swingy, but overall I think it is worth it. It's so much better, and I can't wait to do it. This is like my favorite part about the update, but there's a lot more. And the next biggest thing is they completely reworked pretty much the ranking system. So rank is now a number you can see what moves up and down in a predictable way. So there's an actual MMR, it's not hidden. Rank change is also based solely on where you finish in a ranked match and does not depend on your opponent's rank. So there were games where you would play and you'd be the highest MMR player on the team, and if you didn't perform in like top 2, you would lose rank. There were some instances where people would win a game and still lose rank, and obviously that's a little iffy. So just across the board, and I'll show you some of these features and stuff after we're done looking at the patch notes, because they kind of show it, but it is pretty awesome. Also, anytime you reach the next minor rank, we also grant bonus rank points, and just like before, once you obtain a major rank, it's locked and you cannot drop below it. More details and breakdown of rank thresholds here, and pretty much what it's just talking about, I'll show that to you in a second. Actually, we can go look at it now. It shows you if you get first, you get plus 100, second plus 75, third 50, all that stuff, and then there's all the rank point tiers to see what you have to get to get the different ranks and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then also it talks about playing with friends in ranked multiplayer. Originally you weren't going to be able to play with friends in ranked, and now you can. They just adjust the MMR a little bit differently, where it doesn't really count your friends necessarily. So it's very complicated. It doesn't really matter for the meta. All you know that you can play with friends even in ranked. But on top of that, there's now casual, which is really awesome, especially say you have some silly battle pass challenge where it wants you to go elusives, which in itself isn't silly, but say you want to just complete it, you might want to just force elusives, and that's not the best thing to do in competitive. So you have a place you can just do that. Casual, the multiplayer games will not affect your rank, but you will be matched up against opponents of your same skill level. So you're not just gonna get placed with anyone randomly. It's still gonna try to get you on your skill. It just won't affect your MMR or anything. And you can queue up solo or with friends, and this is where you can experiment with new builds or complete those elusive challenges. I didn't even realize I read that, but that's what I'm talking about, elusive challenge. Daily challenges and achievements also can be earned in casual matchmaking, so that's awesome. And the ranked multiplayer mode update. So your rank, Enforcer 1, Upstart, 3, etc. is used to find opponents. Play ranked matches solo or in a party. See this blog post for details about party rank. It's kind of what I was talking about earlier. New players will need to unlock ranked mode by playing 5 casual games, but anyone that has already played the game, can just play ranked, obviously. And daily and challenges and achievements still can be earned in ranked like normal. And now there are achievements. So complete achievements to earn Proto Pass XP, complete an entire tier of achievements to unlock equipable banner sigils, complete all 3 1-star economy achievements to unlock the Piggy sigil. So what I'll show you is now you have achievements. So, you know, like for crew, buy 10 5-cost heroes, make 5 3-star heroes, win 10 rounds where your heroes are all 2-star or better. So that's kind of like the 1-star, and I'm assuming it'll just, you know, once you complete that 1-star, it'll show you more. And you get these sigils that you can do. And now, with cosmetics, the banners are now, they don't actually have a sigil on it. So they're all blank. And obviously I don't have any right now because I haven't had time to do those. But you'll be able to equip whatever sigil you want on the banner, which makes them a little cooler, honestly. I'm not going to lie. On top of that, they have added 2-star and 3-star look upgrades to the following heroes. So I talked about that in my last video, talking about, you know, what we could expect from Battle Pass. But just, you know, how Axe and Tiny, they changed how they looked when they get to 2-star and 3-star. A lot of new characters have that. They have these awesome sets, so they're going to look better and better and better, which is a very subtle thing, but it makes the game so much better and satisfying to level up your units because they just look so much cooler. I mean, like, Kunkka gets a bird at level 3. I mean, like, it's amazing. So that's kind of just gameplay stuff. It's not necessarily affecting the meta, just kind of like the general game. And that's, I mean, honestly, we're in beta, so the meta is going to change a lot. I mean, they're going to add Underlords at some point, which I don't even know how they're going to affect the game. So it makes sense to me that they should be focusing on parts of the game, making the game itself better rather than balance. I mean, obviously make sure that the balance is good. I think right now we're in a pretty good moment. But I'm glad to see all these awesome things. I mean, the 1v1s, the look upgrades, you know, the achievements and stuff like this. We're starting to feel like a full-fledged game, and it is amazing. So now we get into gameplay. So round damage eliminated for rounds 4 to 9. Round damage starts at round 11 at 2 damage and proceeds as before from on 3 starting at round 24 at round 30. So it's still the more aggressive way, but you don't take any damage. Round damage anyways from rounds 4 to 9, so it's a little less reliant on RNG of getting those, you know, early 2-stars. Also, this is a very awesome comeback mechanic that helps mitigate RNG. Whenever a player loses a round against another player, the loser gains a free reroll the next round. This reroll is not stackable, so use it or lose it. So if you lose a round, that next round you just get a free reroll, which is awesome because, I mean, firstly, the way the game's kind of focused, you try to get to 50 gold if you can. So most of the time, you're not going to be re-rolling until you get to 50 gold, which means a big portion of the game, you're not using the re-roll function. And the re-roll function is awesome. It lets you see more units and stuff. And just being able to, if you lose, get a free reroll. I mean, pretty much everyone's going to be using that, and it's going to make the game feel a lot more satisfying and fair, and I really like that change. It's very small. It seems like a small, subtle change, but I think it's going to be one of the most impactful small changes on here because it just changes how you feel about the game. Then we got a bunch of just general stuff, so we'll just kind of like get through these fast. Fix solo games, tutorials not ending, staying on an empty board screen when you're not connected to Steam. Fix Spirit Bear HP bar offset. Fix default screen sometimes not showing correct units and damage. Also, Dota Underlords network is currently being updated. So, you know, maybe we got a patch fix real fast. Fix default screen sometimes not showing correct units and damage. Fixed healing and disabling items not applying in neutral waves. Clarified some alliance text. Fixed an issue where incorrect message was sent when a divine rapier was stolen. Fixed an issue with players being shown to have completed their rounds on the leaderboard before that was actually true. Fixed Deadeye units not switching away from unselectable targets. Fixed Unstoppable, now Helm of the Undying, triggering too early. Fixed incorrect stun duration after Burrow Strike bumps. Fixed particle effect optimizations across all platforms. Fixed crashes when resuming apps on iOS. Several optimizations for ARM, Mali GPUs. Added options, defaults to on, to automatically deploy units from your bench if you have room on the board and combat begins before you had time to do so. That's pretty cool, especially for new players. If you forget to have put a unit out when you could, it'll just automatically add one. Pretty nice. I'll probably keep that option on because there's not really, if you've started the match or the combat and you haven't gotten in, you haven't put your units out, there's no way it could harm you doing that. So I'd say it's a pretty nice option. Feature UI, updated post-game screen with progress stats and scoreboard, improved mobile responsiveness to touch events. We also now connected to the Dota Underlords network logging in, so just and we're in little exciting thing in the patch note professor video, I guess. spectating, fixed player, playing the startup animation if you start spectating or reconnect to a game after the first round. And spectators can now see the shop of players from the same party that they started the match with. So that's very nice. It was kind of stupid that if you were spectating someone, your friend that you were partying up with, you couldn't see their shop. So nice. And now we get into balance changes. So Crystal Maiden is, and I'm going to jump down here a little bit. Crystal Maiden, her health changed from 450, 900, 180 to 550, 1100, 2000, and she is no longer a tier 3. She's no longer a tier 2. She's a tier 3 now. And Lena is, instead of a tier 3, a tier 2, but nothing else changed with Lena. So Lena was one of the worst mages, honestly. And now that she didn't get nerfed. Normally when you see players or heroes going down a tier in the thing, they tend to get nerfed because like they're a tier lower, like they should be worse, but they didn't touch Lena. So Lena is going to be a really good tier 2, and Crystal Maiden is going to be, I think rightfully so, still really good, but it's going to be harder to just get her super easily. And the Eidolons, this is important, and in a little bit I'll talk to you. Eidolons, the things that, from that font of creation, I mean, not, but the item that created the Eidolons, the primordial one, the Eidolons have been changed. So attack damage minimum changed from 40-50 to 40-80. Attack damage maximum changed from 60-70 to 60-120. Armor changed from 20 to 5 and 10, and maximum health changed from 300 to 300-600. So we'll talk about why that is in a second. So Juggernaut also, he'll only do his Blade Fury when he's surrounded by at least 2 enemies, so that's pretty nice. It's kind of stupid of him doing that only once. The only thing I'm scared about is potentially, say he's the only person left, will he just not use his Blade Fury? We'll have to see. But overall, I think that's going to be an improvement for Juggernaut, definitely a buff. Ogre Magi, his Bloodlust. Ogre Magi is just one of the worst units in the game, I think, at least of last patch. His Bloodlust self bonus attack speed changed from 35, 55, 75 to 50, 90, 130. So way bigger, way more impactful. And other bonus attack speed, so when he's doing it to someone else, 30, 40, 50 to 30, 65, 100. So at level 3, if you can get Ogre Magi to level 3, that's going to be crazy. Shadow Fiend, his attack range went from 4 to 3, and his ultimate, the projectile start with changed from 125 to 128, but end with changed from 425 to 256. So he's going to be hitting a lot less people. Shadow Fiend was just one of the best units in the game, honestly. I think he's still going to be really, really strong. You're just going to have to worry about positioning him a little more importantly, and I think he'll still be just as, maybe not just as strong, but I think he's still going to be very, very strong. Vanomancer, the Plague Wards, number of wards spawn changed from 113 to 111, so even if you get him level 3, he's not going to just crap out those wards. Maximum health went from 200, 200, 240 to 200, 220, and 240, so just change that middle number. Attack damage minimum got changed at the tier 2 and 3, where it's 80, 120 to 100 and 150. Attack range changed from 6 to 8, and attack damage maximum changed from at the minimum to 100, 140, and then 110, 170. So overall, maybe a little less worrying about the wards, but the wards are going to be a little bit better. So I'd say overall that's a nerf because Venomancer was pretty easy to get to 3-star because he was a tier 1 unit. So I'd say overall it's kind of a nerf because those Plague Wards can be crazy, but I don't think it's going to be that bad considering at tier 1 and 2 it doesn't matter, and if anything at tier or star 1 and 2 he's actually going to be better now. So that's something to look out for. Witch Doctor's ability has changed from the cooldown from 10 to 15. I don't think he really needed it. I think maybe Warlocks are just in a really strong position, and so he got nerfed a little bit. I think he's going to be a lot worse now because of that, because potentially he might not get another one off when he would get 2 versus maybe only 1 per match now. We'll have to see. I think he's still going to be pretty decent. I don't think he's ever really been super, super good or super, super bad, so I don't really understand the nerf too much, but I mean, it's something else. And now this is one of the biggest things about the update as well. It is the item changes. So the Alliance items, I made a video talking about how bad they were. I made a bunch of suggestions, and I know they didn't really take my suggestions because they were already developing this, but they did what I was kind of hoping they would do. So all Alliance items have just been disabled. So a lot of the effects of some of the Alliance items have been moved to new items, and some of them went to the actual Alliance actual bonuses. So there's a couple new items. Helm of the Undying, it's a tier 2 defensive equipment, plus 5 armor, and equipped hero survives for an extra 4 seconds after receiving a killing blow. So that was just the Warrior Alliance item, but into a single item. Bracers of Desperation, tier 3 support equipment. Equipped hero resets their cooldown and gets full mana when below 30% health. Attacks target magic resistance is reduced by 30%. So that is the the Mage Alliance item. Poaching Knife, tier 3 offensive equipment. Equipped hero has a 30% chance of producing 1 gold when they kill an enemy. Attacks against units with less than 20% health crit for 200%. So that's actually a lot. That was the Scrappy Alliance item. And I think Poaching Knife is going to be really, really good because you can put that on anyone. You can put that on a crazy assassin and get a bunch of gold from it, especially with the whole crit thing. And Dawning of Ristal, tier 3 global item. Healing for both crews is reduced by 50%, so it's interesting that it affects yours as well. They removed the Cloak, the Recruiter item, Vicious Intent and Wicked Intent. Glad they got rid of those. Those were, the Vicious Intent was the thing that all of your creatures deal extra damage when you win, and I think it also affected your summons. Stupid item. Glad they got rid of it, because you couldn't really, it was hard to tell if you were going to just take 30 damage or like 15. I mean, very glad that item's gone. Overall, I think that theoretically slows the game down a little bit, just because if someone got Vicious Intent and they were doing good, they would just start steamrolling and end the game a lot faster. So glad that's not there. We got a lot of item changes. So big time contract, along with it, giving Bloodbound to someone, it gives them 250 health. So it makes it nice if you're just going to just pick up that item. Brooch of the Martyr, changed from 50% mana gained from receiving damage to 50% mana gained from receiving damage and plus 50% debuff resistance. So it makes it a lot better. I think that's going to be a really good tier 1 item now. Chainmail, the bonus armor, is back to plus 10. Claymore, the attack damage, it's getting 9 extra damage to plus 30. Gloves of Haste, attack speed from 20 to 25. Hood of Defiance, tier changed from 3 to 1. Octarine Essence, tier changed from 2 to 3. Tranquil Boots, health regen, changed from 16 to 25. And Force Staff now pushes melee attackers away from the equipped hero when taking damage. So Force Staff is actually useful. Force Staff was one of the most useless items before, and it's actually useful now. A lot of these items, a lot of them got buffed. And one thing I do want to point out is now that we do not have the alliance items anymore that were just useless. So say three of your, say you have 3 options, 2 of them could be useless alliance items, and 1 could be a big time contract, which would be worse as well. So not only is big time contract actually going to do something as well, but there's no more alliance items. So item rounds are going to feel so much more impactful. The items are going to be so much better. You're going to have a better option. And overall item rounds are just going to feel so much better. And I really like that. And now the last part of the update is the alliance changes. So, we lost some of the alliance items. Some of them got put into items. The rest of them got put into alliance changes. So elusive, once you're at the last tier, so you have 9 heroes, instead of it giving all elusive units 75% evasion, all of your units give 75% evasion. So 9 elusives might actually be a thing potentially. I mean, it really only affects, because if you have 9 elusives, and you have 10 units, theoretically, it's only going to affect 1 additional one, but it's pretty decent, because when you had 9 elusives, say you had something that wasn't an elusive, everything would have illusion or evasion, and one thing wouldn't, and that thing could potentially die sooner. So it's not going to be like the biggest buff ever, but it definitely is a buff. I still don't know if it's worth it to go 9 elusives or not, but it's nice. Warlock, the healing link duration changed from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, so it's actually a pretty substantial nerf. Warlock was one of the best alliances right now. I think Warlocks are still going to be very strong, but I think they're going to be less prevalent, mainly from the this change, the alliance change from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, is going to be pretty impactful, but also just the kind of small nerfs to some of the warlocks we saw with Venomancer, the 3-star getting nerfed, and the Cask of Witch Doctor thing having the duration increased, or not duration, but the cooldown. Brawny, now this is, I was talking to friends about how I wanted this to happen. So instead of it where all the Brawny units have their maximum HP increased by, a certain amount, depending on how many you have, now all Brawny units gain plus 30 or plus 60 maximum HP for each kill they have. So it gives the steamrolly awesomeness. I think that was like one of my favorite alliance items because it was so unique. Now it's just the Brawny alliance. So the Brawny alliance seems so unique now. Savage, instead of it giving, allies the extra attack damage, now allied Savage units apply a stackable 5, 10, 15 damage bleed on attack for 3 seconds. Duration refreshes each attack. So they just took, the alliance item and the Savage, put them in there. I think Savages are going to be a lot better now because the Savage alliance item was one of the best alliance items if you could get it going. So watch out for Savage. I think Savage will be very good this patch. Shaman, they've been changing how Shaman does a lot of stuff. So instead of it being the, enemies affected by hexes and silence and stuns will generate minus 20% mana, now units attacking a Shaman have a 17% chance of being turned into a chicken and hop 4 cells in a random direction. Very, very interesting, very quirky, definitely Shaman-like. I think, previously Shaman Alliance really hasn't been worth it at all. And I think potentially this could be pretty good. I think it's very interesting. I don't really know the full duration. It doesn't really say here, so we'll have to see. But watch out for Shaman. Shaman could be a sleeper thing here. It could be the new Primordials. I don't know. And speaking of Primordials, instead of it being the stupid thing where it was just practically elusive, where the 25% chance to have their attack speed slowed, it now is allied primordial units spawn a rank 1 or 2 Eidolon on death. Eidolons are ranged primordial units that don't spawn Eidolons. So that is really cool. So you'll either create a level 1 or level 2 Eidolon depending on the Primordial Alliance, and I think that's really cool. One thing I really like about a lot of these changes now is it's making it a lot less of just extra attack damage, extra attack speed, extra evasion, just a number to unique things. I mean, the first thing we saw was dragons, where they added the special abilities if you have the dragons. Now Brawny, they have the maximum HP for each kill they have. Primordials, summon the Eidolons. There's a lot of really unique things here, and I think that's one way Underlords is really, really shining. Because those alliance items, there were a lot of really cool item ideas in there, and I think putting a lot of them in the alliances themselves and making some of them single items is a really good idea. Inventor changed from allied inventors get 1540 HP regen to allied inventors explode on death, dealing 15-30% of their max HP to all enemies 1 cell away. One thing that's here is it is nice that it's guaranteed to inventors now, but I do worry that losing that 1540 HP regen, I feel like that might be impactful. It's going to make them a lot less durable and tanky, but they will, deal a lot of damage when they die. So I think overall inventors will be fine, but there's a potential where that was actually a really big nerf. I think overall it's going to be pretty good. I think it's overall a little bit of a buff, but they're not going to be as tanky, which means you're going to potentially have to rely on other tanky things, because inventors were pretty tanky. I think they're still very tanky, but they can't, I don't know if they'll be good for your primary source of defense in terms of that. Demon Hunters, in addition to the existing bonuses, both levels now also have all Demon Hunters gain 30% pure damage for each unique allied demon unit. So it's just kind of encouraging you to get as many demons as you can. So demons, I think, are going to be very, very good, because you just are guaranteed the Demon Alliance item, which was insane. So a lot of people are going to go for demons. I honestly think Demon Hunters and demons are going to be one of the most impactful and one of the best allied alliances right now, so definitely stay tuned for that. I truly believe that. And then Assassins at level 3, once you have 9 Assassins, in addition to the existing bonuses, it also has all Assassins will blind enemies 1 cell away when they land for 2 seconds, which is just a 50% miss chance and 50% less mana when attacked. So that is the August 1st update. A lot of huge stuff, mainly being the head-to-head update, the ranked changes, getting rid of the alliance items, getting the awesome 2-star, 3-star look upgrades. I mean, it is exciting. I'm so excited to play. I mean, we now have these achievements. The game is starting to feel like a full-fledged game, and it's feeling less and less like beta by the day. I can't wait to see what comes in store. But overall, I'm going to just be enjoying a lot more Underlords, refreshed in how happy I am about this game. But overall, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on it. If there's any of these changes that you liked or didn't like, let me know in the comments down below. I love talking with you guys, love responding and everything. And if you guys are having a great day today, I hope you continue having a great day. If you guys aren't having a great day, I hope you start having a great day. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time.